After the accident,
I was stuck paying all these medical bills.
The Witherspoon Law Group understands that you didn't deserve what happened to you, but you do deserve justice.
They weren't just there for me, they fought for me.
I care about what my clients are going through. We are in the fight of their lives.
We don't just fight for you, we fight with you and make sure you get the compensation you deserve.
And that's why we do what we do. And what we do is win.
Call 844-WE-WIN-44.
Happy Saturday and welcome to this week's edition of Iris in the City. I am so excited because we are approaching one of my favorite days of the year, and that is Thanksgiving. And I have with me today one of my favorite chefs. She started as my favorite baker. So join me in welcoming none other than Vanessa, aka Chef V.
Hello.
Hi, Vanessa, Chef V. Welcome to Iris in the City. I am so excited to talk to you today with Thanksgiving coming up. I know you're going to be in the kitchen cooking some amazing things. And then we also want to talk about this seasoning. Mine is almost gone, but we want to talk about this seasoning because what we want to do is make sure that you have the right things in your cabinet or pantry for this Thanksgiving holiday. So without further ado, Chef V, tell Iris in the City viewers a little about yourself and your journey to becoming a chef.
So that's a whole book in itself.
It's a whole book. Oh,
it really is.
You can also find Chef V recipes in My Mama Said. She was featured in My Mama Said.
Absolutely. So actually, I've always loved cooking and I've always loved baking. Baking is really my first love because, like Iris said, I started out as one of her favorite bakers. And I love the fact of, baking cupcakes. That's how I started. I had a cupcake business. And then I decided, why don't I go to culinary school to be a pastry chef? Well, the culinary school.
So back up. I'm not gonna let our audience miss this because if we don't do nothing else on this show, we encourage people to follow purpose at different times in their life. So when did you decide that? What was the determining factor or a time where you were able to make that decision?
So piggybacking, I was an administrative assistant in different areas like medical field, schools, different things like that for almost 15 years. And then as I started the cupcake business, I was probably right at my 15th year, I think, of being an administrative assistant. So I ended up starting culinary school. I enrolled in everything. And I said, okay, I can do this and work at the same time. Now, mind you, I'm married and I have 2 kids. They're in like elementary going into middle school. So I said, I know I can do this. I didn't know how much in detail that I would have to study, write recipe cards, all this other stuff. So a month within, now mind you, my classes started at 6:30 every morning, 6:30 a.m. So I was going to school, getting out at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, then going to my job, still working. I did this all for a little over a month, and then I talked with my husband, and I said, I'm gonna have to quit because in order for me to get the full potential of it, I can't work and go to school at the same time. So that was a big adjustment, and went to school, finished top of the class. I was president on the president's list. I was also the school, our class leader. And I also won the award for, they call it chewing off the end of the table. It was the John Carroll Award. So I accomplished so much within 2 years, but it was so rewarding to do that. And so instead of me becoming just a pastry chef, I actually became a classical trained chef. So I got the whole thing and not just the pastry part.
Well, congratulations on that. And you brought up some very key points. Being a mother, you couldn't stop being a mother, you couldn't stop
Right.
being a wife. But at the end of the day, you chose your passion, which you knew ultimately was going to bring you the happiness you need to serve in every area of your life. So
Absolutely.
never be afraid to follow your passion because it will definitely bring your profits.
Yeah.
I remember that I met Vanessa in corporate America, and I remember days of busting in her house on Sunday mornings for cupcakes. And I'm like, you need business, you need to go in there. So I always have encouraged Miss Vanessa along the way, and I'm so proud to see her growing and growing. Um, People talk about best kept secrets, right? Well, I
Mhm.
don't want this to be a secret. Miss Vanessa has seasoning, her own seasoning, and she
Yeah.
has developed healthy options to season our food so that we can live those after we create that generational wealth, able to enjoy it with a few generations. So let's talk about this seasoning. As you can see, I'll say it again, man, it's a little empty because I shake, shake, shake. But let's talk about
Absolutely.
the seasoning and what an accomplishment on you creating your own seasoning. So let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Give us some information.
So the history that kind of plays along with this seasoning is that I've always wanted to have something of my own that I could leave my name on and to pass it down from generation to generation. And I say that because my grandmothers, my grandfather, my father, my mom, they have always, had jobs in kitchens and different things like that.
Mhm.
My dad was a cook in the army. My mom, she has worked, in different restaurants as well in her younger years. And so one of the things that we take a hold of is cooking. My grandmother, she was a great baker. Both of my grandmothers were great bakers. So I think I got a lot of that from them. And so I always said, it would be nice to just have something that I think my family would love if they were all still alive, that they could say, hey, this has our name, our approval on it. And when my father passed back in 2020, I knew that he was really big on seasoning and barbecue. And
Mhm.
so I came up with this after he had passed and I dropped it. I launched it on his birthday 2 years ago. And I said, I really want to put this out there. So it was just really bittersweet. And I love the fact that with my seasonings, they're very flavorful. I have the original all purpose seasoning. I have a salt free. I have a new one, which is a spicy salt free. And I
Mhm.
have a Cajun. And I also have, just of course, the spicy. So
Mhm. The
that gives you a
spicy,
right.
spicy.
So that gives you a really, really good variety of, seasonings to choose from and flavors.
Mhm.
One of my biggest sellers is the salt free because a lot of people are looking for salt free options in this time, for their health or just trying to be better at
Mhm.
their health. And you have a lot of salt free seasonings out here that are not flavorful.
Mhm.
You can go to the store, pick up a salt free, but you really don't have any flavor. So
Right?
I feel like when you get a seasoning and if it doesn't have the salt in it, why can't you still have the flavor,
Exactly.
So
We
um,
know we
that's
love
the thing.
flavor.
Yes. And so with all of my seasonings that do have salt in them, we do use sea salt, which is better for you. So we don't use any iodized or anything like that. And one other chef that has used my seasonings did mention I like the fact that when you do see your seasonings in the bottle, you see everything. You don't see it just all ground up. You see all the different seasonings that are in there. So that makes me feel good as well.
Yes, and I agree.
Yeah.
Uh, so, talking about the kitchen and bonding, you mentioned grandparents and parents and cooking and how that was just a thing for your family. How do you use cooking as a way to bond or to pass traditions to your family?
So with me, I love being in the kitchen. The kitchen is kind of like my quiet time. I like to create.
Mhm.
Just last night, I was trying out this recipe, and actually, I'm in the process of making dog treats. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay, Chanel. Okay,
yeah.
Chanel. That's what you do.
Yes, because I have a pup and he is 6 years old and I like to give him all natural treats, so I don't want anything to, go against his digestion, his allergies or anything like that. So I try to, feed him things that when you look at a dog treat, you can see the actual ingredients and not, say, oh, I can't pronounce this name. So that's one thing I'm, working on. And then I especially like I said, the favorite thing is baking.
Yeah.
Baking is very relaxing to me, so I'm so excited when the holidays come, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. You can, I'm in here baking different types of cookies, whether it's a caramel cake, whatever it might be, cupcakes, it's just all those different things that I like to do when it comes to being in the kitchen.
So having a daughter, with cooking being like your passion and your thing that relaxes you, is it easy to bring her in and say, hey, Kendall, come on, let's roll this dough? Or is it like, this is mom's private time and you get joy off of the tasting, inviting the family in after? Because I know I love being in the kitchen with my grandmother and great grandmother and mother while they're cooking, but at that age, I didn't enjoy none of the chopping and things like that. So
right. So I think for me and my daughter, she likes to come in, or I'll say, Kendall, come taste this. How does it taste? Or if it's cookies and stuff that she likes, then she'll come in and try to help or whatever. My son is actually a bigger cook than my daughter. So he likes to dibble and dabble and make his own creations in the kitchen. I like it myself now that as the older I get, I still like being now in the kitchen with my mom, because now that she is older, I'm trying to get those recipes from her. Back in the days, they didn't write stuff down. So now I'm making her, okay, mom, write down your recipe for dressing. Write down the recipe for your sweet potato pie, because she sells her sweet potato pies.
And
so
how many years have I inboxed you a week before Thanksgiving? What's the sweet potato pie recipe?
Absolutely.
Like, Vanessa is gonna get sick of me, but every year you patiently send me the recipe.
Yes. So definitely, even my greens, my collard greens. My mom is to the point now where she's like, I'm not making the collard greens anymore. That's all on you. So that's where she leaves me at right now. She's like, when you come Thanksgiving, you can make the greens. So 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's big when mama let you make that one like give you my mother is not gonna give up that pot of greens. She probably don't know that I get it right for nothing in my life. So to get that pot of greens, the Simon girl, you better go.
Yes. So she gave that up to me 2 weeks ago. I went to the farmer's market because I like going to the farmer's market and getting like the fresh produce from the farmers instead of getting them from the stores where they go from truck to truck to truck. And so I went to the farmer's market, got my collard greens, I cleaned them, I cut them, made a batch on Sunday, the next Sunday, and then I just have them freezing in the freezer. And so when we go Thanksgiving, I already have them ready to drop.
So are they clean, like you cleaned them and everything, you froze them, or did you clean them and cook them and freeze them? So they're cooked.
So I'm glad you asked that, because somebody asked me, they said, when you cleaned them, did you cook them and then put, I'm like, who cooks them and puts them in the freezer? I've never heard of that. So that must be something I just have not been privy to.
But that's why I asked.
Right. So what I do is I clean them, I cut them, and then I put them in the freezer. In the freezer box. Yeah.
That's what my mother did last week. So okay. So let's talk about this famous pot of collard greens. So this is, if you're not watching Iris in the City today, then guess what? You missing it. You missing it, because this is the only time she's giving this recipe away. So let's talk about these collard greens. Oh my, I just see flavor all in the collard greens.
Yes.
This is the Iris in the City exclusive secret for the foodies watching. Okay, so talk us through this delicious batch of collard greens.
So the batch of collard greens, so how I make it is, first I depending on how big the smoked turkey leg or wing is, I put it in the pot. So, now they have those big legs. So basically I either trim the meat off the legs, or I just, have a great big pot and I put it in there along with chicken broth. So chicken broth is the liquid that I cook my greens in.
Okay.
Back in the day they use water. No, we flavor. So we gonna use chicken broth.
Okay.
So I chicken broth. I put my my smoked meat in there. Let that cook until it starts falling off the bones, if it's not already off by you trimming it. So I would say at least a good 30 minutes. And then once you see it start getting, soft and kind of getting off the bones, then I put my bag of greens in there, my collard greens. And I also cut up an onion. So depending on how big of a pot you have, you can do a half an onion or a whole onion. And then I also cut up red bell peppers and I put those in there. I dice them up. And then also I use a little bit of fresh garlic. And after the fresh garlic, you mix it all together, add everything. And then I also I use the Chef V seasoning, the spicy. So
spicy. It's my favorite. I love everything spicy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a better picture. She has a full bottle. The spicy.
Yes, I can get it right in this camera. So the spicy, there we go.
Oh,
so
and you have the ingredients, the nutrition facts right there. So no guess was Chef V's seasoning. We have the nutrition facts right there for you.
Yes, and then you also have how to enjoy it and everything as well. Yes. So the spicy has everything in it that you need as far as the ingredients. You got, your garlic, your pepper, you got your salt, and I can't name off the other ones because I can't give y'all all my ingredients. But it's in there. It's in there. It's in there. And with the spicy, right? And with the spicy, that gives it that little kick that you need in your greens. Because sometimes people like to add hot sauce or whatever to their greens, which is fine. You can still do that, but with it being the spicy seasoning, it'll give it that perfect kick. But also you can still add hot sauce if it just determines which kind of heat you like to have, So but yeah, that's pretty much it. And then another thing I add to my collard greens. So once they get done almost cooking, then I cut up a half a head of cabbage and I mix cabbage with my collard greens. Yes. So when I tell you it is the best, it is the best thing, honey. Add you some cornbread. That's some good eating.
That sounds like some good eating, Chef V. So half a cabbage once the collard greens are pretty much cooked.
Yeah, because the cabbage is not going to take that long to cook. Okay. And what I do for my collard greens, I put them in like a slow cooker. So that way you can just let it cook, throughout the day or whatever. So like if you go into church, what I did a couple weeks ago, I put them in the slow cooker. When I got home, I threw a little bit of the cabbage in there. That stuff was so good. I came in the house, it was smelling things.
And you know what I say? I don't know if it's because, they say cooking comes from the soul, and you are just one of the most genuine people that I have ever met. It wasn't a day, no matter what was going on in the office, that you didn't handle yourself or send the same message. Even if I ran into you on weekends, it was the same message, the same Vanessa. So I'm like, Vanessa food comes with an extra soul, just like soul, some love in it. So it's definitely a gift from God. And I'm so glad he blessed you with it, and that I was blessed to have so many cupcakes and chocolate chip cookies. When I first moved to Texas, I said, Vanessa, you need to try shipping. You said, I'm not ready for shipping.
Because it would be so much just to try to figure out, with the frosting and stuff, unless I sent the frosting separate. People decorate their own cupcakes. And I'm sure people would do that.
They will, but I was pushing it. But let's talk about a person like me that well, everybody don't have access to Chef V, so you can't be inboxing her, asking her these questions. You have to schedule a class that she offers. So check out her website. But for a person like me, so that I won't bother you so much this year, my sister said, did somebody say cabbage? My sister loves cabbage. It's like her all-time favorite dish.
Oh my God.
Her love language is cabbage. Give me a pot of cabbage. Cabbage.
Yes.
So her love language is cabbage. But somebody like me, what are a few prep things that I can do now for Thanksgiving so that I'm prepared, like the night before, the day of? Like, is there anything I can do this weekend for shopping? Like, what can I do? 5 quick tips of things that we can do to prepare for Thanksgiving.
So I would say, number one, make sure you know what your menu is.
Okay.
That's the first thing. What's on your menu? Once you figure
I
out,
don't know.
once you figure out your menu, then you can decide, okay, what are the ingredients that I need to do to prepare for this menu?
Mm-hmm.
Are you having family over? So if you're having family over, are you asking them to bring a dish? So if they're bringing a dish, then you can write next to the dish, okay, Auntie is bringing macaroni and cheese. Mama is bringing greens, you know. So figure out what it is that you have to prepare, then write a grocery list. Okay. Once you write your grocery list and the ingredients that you need, then it's time to go shopping. Now, right about now, it would be a good time to buy your turkey, only because, you know, we're dealing with, you know, of course, inflation. We're also dealing with, you know, trucks being slow, not coming in, you know, backlogging and stuff like that. So it's best to get your turkey now and just put it in the freezer. And then that way, you know, the week of, you can take it out and get ready to thaw it out. But now you can purchase like your pantry items. So, you know, you can purchase, you know, the stuff to make your cornbread. You can purchase, you know, like the cranberry sauce. You can purchase, you know, your paper plates and, you know, your cups, whatever you're going to use, your napkins, you know, purchase all your pantry items, your spices, because spices, you know, those will go fast.
Chef V spices, which is why we are here today, to make sure that you get yours in time for your Thanksgiving holiday.
Absolutely.
If you don't get it in time for Thanksgiving, you better get it for Christmas.
Yes, absolutely. So you definitely want to make sure if you're ordering any of my seasonings that you order as soon as possible. So that way it gives you enough time to get them in the mail for Thanksgiving. So, you know, those different things. Get your stuff for, you know, your cakes. If you're making cakes from scratch, get all that stuff. Everything that you need that are pantry staples, get that stuff. Write down your guest list. So that way you can make sure that you have enough food for everybody that's coming over. Get your to-go containers, your to-go and your to-stay.
I came in the door at your house with a to-go container.
Right. So get all those things, even your leftover containers that you're going to be putting away in the refrigerator. Buy those up, so that way you're not looking and looking at your cabinet, you got mismatched stuff, lids, you're looking for lids, you don't have any lids. Get your aluminum foil, all that stuff. You know, this is the perfect time to get it. And a lot of that stuff you can get, you know, at your dollar store, whatever it might be, Family Dollar. You know, you don't always have to, you know, go to the big box stores, but it just depends on how much you need. But yeah, those are really the main things. Just be prepared, so that way you're not looking for last minute stuff. And even if you have guests that are coming over and you're not cooking everything, and say you have a guest that doesn't cook, have them bring the paper goods, have them bring the sodas, have them bring the water, you know, different things like that. You know, give some of that stuff out, so that way you don't have to buy as much stuff. Right.
So if you have a guest that really can't cook, is what Chef V said, assign
and tell them, don't be trying no new recipe on Thanksgiving Day with the family.
That is not allowed at all. All this new, let me try this. Not today.
No.
Don't go put marshmallows on. No, what are you doing? Oh yeah, I agree with that. That's one rule: no new recipes on Thanksgiving unless
Right.
you tried them and had them approved by the family.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, so once we get through Thanksgiving Day, we talking leftovers. Now it was hard to get my kids to eat leftovers, so I really had to reinvent stuff. But when it goes for like dressing and things with egg and dairy in it, is it a timeline as to how long we should keep it after? And if we're going to transition from refrigerator to freezing, is it best to do it the day after? How does that work with leftovers?
Okay, so for leftovers, so after everybody leaves or when you're cleaning up, that is the perfect time to figure out, who can start, breaking down the turkey. So getting all the meat off of it, putting it in freezer bags or either, whatever containers you have. Break all that meat off the turkey. Get that done. Turkey, you can keep that, I would say, at least up to 3 to 4 days in the refrigerator.
Okay.
4 to me is long enough. Okay. But if you're planning on making, let's say, turkey noodle soup or something like that, you can repurpose that meat in there. Or if you want to make, turkey sandwiches, you can do that. But usually after, I would say, the 3rd day, everybody is burnt out. So if you're done with it, you're done. Throw it away. The side dishes. So you got macaroni and cheese, you got collard greens, you got dressing. So I know a lot of people that, what they do with their dressing, they freeze it. After it's done, I ask everybody, hey, y'all want any more dressing? This might be the 2nd day. No, we good. We don't want any more dressing. Then I get rid of it. Collard greens, same thing. 2 days, I would think. So it's just all really a part of how everybody eats leftovers in your house.
Okay, so basically how you transition them is going to be based on how your family consume it, whether you need to freeze it, say for another time, eat off it for the next couple of days. Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, Chef V, I want to thank you for joining me today. And I can't express enough how proud I am to see you blossom and transition. And I can't, like I said, it would have been just behoove me to keep you as my best kept secret. I know some people know about you. You have following and things like that. But as we approach Thanksgiving, I'm like, no, can't keep it a secret. Want to get this seasoning out there.
Right.
Give everybody a chance to have a flavorful Thanksgiving. It is one of my favorite holidays because there's no expectations other than eating, enjoying family, laughing, dessert, which is another one of my favorite times, the dessert time. And like I said, just creating memories. So happy to kick off this Thanksgiving holiday, sharing your seasoning. Follow Chef V on Facebook with Food with Chef V. You can also follow her on TikTok at Food with Chef V. That's IG and TikTok. And of course, go to her website, foodwithchefv.com.
Yes.
Now, did I jack that up or no?
No, you didn't. You got it all right, and it's on the screen. So yes, definitely check me out on all those platforms.
Well, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Go to the website, buy your seasoning, and go and prep for this Thanksgiving. See you soon.
Thank you.